Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about the song. So, Serenata Eterna is a Spanish art song written by Antonio Gomezanda. He was a pupil of Manuel Ponce in Mexico, and his repertoire consists of symphonies, piano solos, and of course, songs. Serenata Eterna is a great example of Spanish passion and rhythm that he composed. So, the melody of this song is playful, yet it is still very passionate. There aren't that many big leaps, such as some other songs. You know, some other songs have some leaps of fifths or even sixths, but this song typically just moves in thirds and does a lot of chromaticism, and for the exception of a few octave jumps. There's, I think, 2. And that's about it. There's really no big jumps. We'll see the melody ascends and descends chromatically, especially for the high F at the end of every stanza of the poem. At the end of every stanza, Gomezanda puts a high F to be sustained. And more on that later. Although the rhythms are bouncy and move somewhat quickly, the melody itself, the vocal line specifically, is not jaunty or choppy, since there are legato markings over almost every phrase. So, especially in the beginning and end, the song is kind of in 3 pieces. So it's the first part, and then the middle section, and then the last part. And the first and last part are very similar. And especially in all of those, in the first and last part of the song, there are legato markings over every phrase, even though the rhythms are a little bit quick and move quickly, and the words kind of move quickly as well. Gomezanda makes it a point for it to be sung very legato, very connected. So because of this, we can identify the vocal articulation as lyric melody, because the melody is the focus of the song. Although the words change, the melody stays the same and actually leaves much room for the singer to interpret it differently every time. So, because of this, there are, like I said, there's a lot of room for you to interpret and tell the story as the words continue changing. Because even though it's the same repeated melody, the words are different, and there's a story that's progressing as you go along. So, having the same melody can be seen as a little bit difficult and a little bit repetitive, but if you are a good interpreter, you can interpret each line differently and move the phrases differently and maybe sing at different dynamic levels to add some variation into it. So, talking about harmony, the song begins and ends in D flat major. However, in the B section or bridge of the song, you know how I was talking about that the song is in 3 sections, so it's A, B, and then it pretty much A repeated over again. So in the B section of the song, there are chromatic changes in the harmony, giving it a minor feel, even though it does not modulate or change keys. It stays in B flat major. The only difference is that Gomezanda adds small chromatic harmonies like descending in the left hand of the piano, and it gives it a very minor feel, once again adding to like the passion of the words, of the Spanish drama sensation that there is in the song. And it took me so long. I was sitting there and I was looking at all of the different notes and seeing how he changes into each chord and how he moves from one chord to the next. And I was thinking, is he modulating? But no, he's not modulating keys. He's just changing the harmony a little bit chromatically. So it stays in D flat major, doesn't change keys. It then resolves back to the tonic, and the song continues with the main theme once again. So it's A section, D flat major, B section, still D flat major, with a little bit of chromatic and interesting harmonies. And then it goes back into D flat major again, the same repeated harmony from the first section. Okay, talking about rhythm now. The song is in 6/8 and stays that way throughout, meaning And in the piano, we can see this 6/8 melody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it's really fun because the piano has rhythms alternating between hands. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 1, and then the thumb will move down to the bass clef, and then move up to the top again. So that's how you get the. So it's really fun. I think it's a really light-hearted piece, and so I feel like the 6/8 pattern adds to that that feeling. So it stays in 6/8 throughout. However, once again, going back to the B section of the song, the singer has more liberties due to the muy rubato instructions at the top of the line. So it still follows the 6/8 pattern, but it can be played and sung more freely without the enforcement of a specific tempo. So the way that I sing it, I took it as long as I wanted to sing it, and it felt very free, very emotion-led. It didn't feel that I was controlled by a certain tempo or controlled by the accompaniment. It was very much free to emote, and that's how I interpreted the song, at least, especially in the words in that section, which I will talk about a little bit later. So yeah, it stays in 6/8 throughout, except for the B section where it doesn't quite follow a specific tempo that it did in the beginning. It didn't follow the it was way more legato, way more free than those two sections, the beginning and the end. The accompaniment of this song, however, is jaunty and bouncy, unlike the singer, who sings very legato over it. It has many eighth note rhythms and syncopations with contrast with the singer. And I was talking about that syncopation and eighth note rhythm with the exchange in the rhythm with the hands. So the left hand will have a certain rhythm, and then the right will kind of join it, and it's got these alternating rhythms which are really cool. Yes, the accompaniment is jaunty and bouncy, has eighth note rhythms and syncopations that contrast with the singer. And in the B section, Gomezanda has written a chromatic melody in the right hand, which we talked about earlier. He never modulates keys, he just changes the harmony chromatically. So through this melody, he not only does he change the harmony, he adds a little bit of right hand melody. So there you have the vocal line having the main melody on the top, and the left hand keeping the chromatic harmony, and he also adds in a small little right hand melody, which to me actually almost sounds like a bit of improvisation. So it stops supporting the singer like it has been doing throughout the entire song, throughout the whole A section and the whole A repeated section. The accompaniment supports the singer throughout, even plays some of its notes alongside the singer. But in this section, the B section, it stops supporting the singer and essentially takes on this sort of improvisational chromatic feel, and it makes for a more bluesy / jazz feel, once again boosting the passionate words, boosting the emotion. Like I said, in that song, the singer has liberties to take as much time as they want and be led by their emotions, led by the portrayal of the song. And the accompaniment also kind of has that. Well, it's following the singer's tempo, like any good pianist would. They stay together, but the piano also has a little bit of space to improvise. Not literally improvise, but what is notated in the music sounds to me like it's a little bit of improvisation, and it kind of strays from everything that's been happening at the beginning, So, so this melody and jazzy sort of section just boosts for what the words are talking about. So the poem tells a story of a man serenading a woman who is on her balcony. He sings that they should run away together, spend the night with each other, if you know what I mean. And his intentions to serenade her forever. He wants to be with her forever and sing this beautiful song to her every day. Which I think is very romantic and is definitely matches the music that Gomezanda has written to it. So there is a bit of text painting using the high F, which is at the end of every phrase, as I mentioned earlier. So there's a bit of text painting using the high F, which emphasizes the man's intentions, the man in the story, his intentions on words such as cantar, which means to sing, soy yo, which means it's me, and cerca los dos, which means close together, two of us close together. So all of these words are in the A and the repeated A section. And the B section, the entire B section is about the man asking the woman for a kiss. He wants her to kiss him. And I feel like that's why those little chromatic changes in the added harmony was specifically for that B section, because it's filled with so much passion and shows the love that the man has for the woman. And it's just, I feel like the concept of love in literature has no really defined definition, which is why I think that he added those muy robato symbols in, because love is just love. Love can lead you to do certain things that you wouldn't normally do, which is why I think that B section was written the way it is, because it completely changes the rhythm and the melody and the harmony. Everything changes there at the moment where he asks her for a kiss, and essentially she does go with him. And the high B flat that the person sings is the moment where they finally have their kiss and they run away together. So because the melody is so repetitive, the singer should interpret each line differently due to the progression of the story. That's why I mentioned earlier that it's repeated so many times, so the singer has a lot of liberties once they pay attention to the words and how the story is progressing. They can interpret each line differently using, as I mentioned, dynamics, phrasing, all these things. I don't think it should be the same every time that it's sung. And lastly, the song is in modified strophic form, since the same melody repeats over and over except for the B section. And that's pretty much what we've been talking about this entire time, is that the A section is the same as... The A section is repeated at the very end, and the B section is where all of the juicy chromaticism and harmony comes in. And that is all. That is all for Serenata Eterna. The song is beautiful. The song has so many juicy, passionate goodness in it, which I think really it represents Spanish art song. Spanish music in general is just filled with so much spice and passion. And I feel like Gomezanda really captures that. He not only captures this Spanish attitude, he just captures love as a concept in general. Love as the story progresses and how the two characters progress. And that is all for my presentation. I hope you enjoyed Serenata Eterna.